Hey everybody, it's been really interesting the last few days. I want to share with you some issues about weather, especially this time of year, but any time of year. But I want to share a few things with you, tell you sort of my viewpoint about some of it, and that way you can maybe share what your viewpoint is of it as well. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. Today is the 16th of January 2021. I am in Edwards, Colorado. If you don't know where Edwards, Colorado is, it's on Interstate 70, about 15 miles west of Vail. So just got through going through Vail Pass. I want to talk about a few things. I mentioned talking about weather a little bit, but before we get into that, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Just click the subscribe button down below. Hit the little bell icon to be notified about when I post. If you like this video, once we're done, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. That always helps out. If there's something that you don't like, leave a comment. That's fine. You know, try not to hit that thumbs down, but leave me a comment and we can talk about it and see where we go. I always like feedback from my subscribers, so please feel free to leave some. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about weather. So let me tell you what's been going on the last few days. I had a load that ran to into Missouri, and then delivered that out there, and then picked up a load that was going to Nebraska, and then had a pre-plan right after that for a load picking up in Nebraska and heading to California. So I want to talk about that a little bit. So there's a few things going on with this. So I was starting to get short on hours, so I was getting ready to start looking at run on recaps, and we've talked about recaps before. If you're not sure about that, you know, you can look at some of the previous videos, or we can do another video about it later. But anyway, I was getting ready to run on some recaps over the next few days that I was going to need to. But I got the load that was going to St. Joseph, Missouri, and I delivered that out there. Picked up a load that same day in Riverside, Missouri, that was running to North Platte, Nebraska, to the Walmart distribution center there. So once I got that load, right away I got a pre-plan for a load that was picking up in Broken Bow, Nebraska, and running to California, and that's what I'm on right now. But I want to talk about weather a little bit because it became a factor. It wasn't too bad. We ran into some wind, and a lot of people don't think about wind as weather, but it's really important when you're a truck driver. I mean, it's a really important thing to look at. Anyway, ran into a little bit of wind, but for the trip to Missouri and the trip to North Platte, I was loaded about 40,000 pounds, you know, so I was pretty heavy. So, you know, these gusts weren't really getting to me very much. I could feel it a little bit, but I slowed it down, because even if you're really heavy, you get hit with, you know, these 65 plus mile an hour gusts and stuff, and you're going too fast, it can turn you over. You know, it can turn you over even if you're not going that fast, but it can definitely turn you over. I mean, I want to show you a couple of videos. I mean, if you don't know what that looks like, you know, you can see what a truck looks like when it's turned over, just on its side. You know, and it happens all the time when people, you know, one of three things usually turns a truck over. One is really abrupt changes in direction. Like, for instance, let's say you're not paying attention or something, and you're starting to go off the road, and you jerk the wheel back. All of a sudden, that load can start to shift, or that weight can start to shift, and all of a sudden you're on your side. Or going too fast in turns. We see that quite a bit. I mean, when you see these signs that say 20 mile an hour, you know, around this turn, you know, or, you know, 30 mile an hour or whatever, you know, trucks really, most of the time those numbers are for four-wheel vehicles, not for trucks. Trucks need to be going, you know, at least 10 miles an hour less than that to so that weight doesn't start to shift, and for all of a sudden you end up on your side. And the third reason, and these aren't in any particular order, not one happens more than the other, as far as I know. I haven't done the research in it, but wind blowing over trucks, and enough wind can blow over a truck just sitting still. I'm going to show you a video. I'll put a video up here in the corner. This happened when I was at with Stevens Transport. It wasn't me, but it was somebody that I worked with. Was at Iowa 80 when they had those weird storms out in Iowa in the fall, and he was just sitting in the parking lot, and it just blew him right over. And you'll see it. I'll also put a link to the full video down below so you can sort of see it. But anyway, it can happen, and wind is something that you really have to worry about. Well, I was pretty safe till I got to North Platte, and they had a high wind warning in Nebraska, throughout Nebraska. And the problem was going to be is that I had 81 miles to go from where I dropped off that load in North Platte to pick up this load in Broken Bow, and I was going to be empty. So that would have just made me that could have turned me over. Could have turned me over so easily. So instead, I did what most truck drivers should do. I believe they should do, is I shut it down. I called our operation. I sent a message to my asset manager, said, hey, I got plenty of time to pick this up and run it. I'm not going anywhere today because I'm not going to turn this truck over, and do it. So I'm going to find a place at this Love's, and I'm going to park it, and I'm not moving it. So until it subsides. And then at first they said it was supposed to be noon, and then at 6 p.m. the next day. Ultimately, it was about 6 p.m. the next day, but by that time I was about 6 hours short of getting a 34-hour reset. So I just finished it out till this morning about midnight. I finished out a little bit before midnight, but I waited till midnight so I could get my clock the way I wanted to, and started to run it, and haven't really ran into an issue with that. So when you need to worry about that, that's something you need to look at. There's plenty of apps out there that can help you. There's the weather apps that, of course, that will give you information and tell you that. You can look at the individual state Department of Transportation apps. They'll give you information about that and any kind of warnings. And then there's also an app I use every once in a while. It's called Windy, and it focuses specifically on wind, and it gives you an idea, and you can sort of see how it's going to change throughout the day, or at least it's supposed to. But a lot of these states will shut down their roads because of the wind. Probably the number one state that I know of that does it is Wyoming. They have so much issues with wind up there during different times of the year, or all year long, but more so different at certain times of the year, that you'll see I-80 closed down quite a bit up in Wyoming because of wind. So they have lots of little parking areas along the road for you to get off and that kind of stuff. But wind's nothing to mess around with. There, you can't control that. The wind hits you and you're really light, or even if you're really heavy and the wind's strong enough, it's going to blow you over, and or it'll blow you where you lose control of the vehicle, and even if you don't go over, you're probably going to end up in a ditch somewhere. So just be real careful with that. Second part of weather I want to talk about is I just came through Vail Pass. It was not too bad coming up Vail Pass from the east, but as you started to get towards Eisenhower Tunnel, there was a big delay because the weather was starting to change, and plus everybody's up here skiing in all these ski resorts up here. As you came through and hit Copper Mountain and that, and it was packed. You could see all the people skiing and snowboarding and everything, up on Copper Mountain. And but the road was that road coming down. There's two long stretches coming down the western part of Vail Pass, from Eisenhower Tunnel down to about here, and when that road's wet and maybe icy, even if they're working on it or whatever, you got to take it really slow. And a lot of times, you can't use your Jake brake. as often or as well. There's different thoughts in there. I'm not going to tell you whether you use it or not. That's something that your company is going to tell you, or your experience or whatever. But when I was at Stevens, they said, hey, if the road's wet or it's icy, you don't touch that Jake brake, and you definitely don't touch the cruise and that kind of stuff. So, but then you got to make sure you're coming down in the right gear, and you need to save your brakes. There's about 4 or 5 runaway truck ramps in that stretch, and in each one I saw tracks from trucks that had to use them. So maybe not today. I didn't see any trucks in there today, but I guarantee you, in the last week or so, those things have been used quite a bit. So and it's people just overestimating what the conditions are. I had a guy that I ended up blowing my horn at on the way down, and what happened is he was going so fast compared to what it seemed like his ability was to control the truck, that his truck kept pushing me towards the shoulder, and that shoulder had snow and everything on it, and he kept coming into my lane and everything, and it could have gotten really dangerous. Luckily I was going slow enough that I could try to slow it down a little bit more without heating on my brakes to let him get by me. But people go too fast, and it can be dangerous. I mean, especially in a truck, but even in 4-wheels, it can get real dangerous. So, you got to check the weather every day. You got to check the weather, even if you think it's going to be really nice. I have 2 more mountain passes to go through here, coming up here, and at least 2 and a few other things that I got to get through, and I'm going to make sure and check the weather to see how it's going to go. But for tonight, we're going to be here in Edwards, and it's a little rest area here, because there's not a lot of truck stops between Denver and, I don't even think there's one in Glenwood Springs. If there is, it's a real small one, but there's not a lot out here. So rest areas are a good thing. This is a nice one here in Edwards, and it's in walking distance of some restaurants. There's a Chinese restaurant, so I'm going to go check that out. But I did want to. I wanted to share just a couple other things real quick. I have had a few of you that have sent me emails and sent me little messages inquiring about coming to work for Crete. Please, if the information is down below. The way that you can 100% make sure that you get with the right person or whatever would be to email me, and then I will email you back about the information I need from you, and I'll make sure it gets the right person. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. We do referral bonuses, and you come to work for Crete, you're going to get a chance to do referral bonuses too. But I also think that if you're willing to do that for me, I should be willing to do something for you. So, starting today, and I'm not going to say I can, sometime I may quit doing it, but starting today, anybody who puts me for a referral and does it the correct way, which means I get referral credit, and you apply to work for Crete, you get accepted, go through orientation, and you drive for Crete for at least 2 months, at least 60 days, I'm going to send you a Bluetooth trucker headset, okay? Or we'll figure something else out, but the value, at least the value of that, but a Bluetooth trucker headset, that way you have something like that. But I'll do that for you. So just as a thank you for subscribing and taking the time to help me out, help my family out, everything else, and I really appreciate that. So I'd like to do that for you. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope the week coming up is going to be great for you. As soon as I deliver this, I think the next step is going to be to head me towards home for about a week and a half. So I haven't taken any time off since I've been with Crete, other than I got a chance to take about 2 days for Christmas. But other than that, I haven't had any time off. So I'm going to take my time and enjoy it. So I hope you guys have a great one, and stay safe. Be careful about the weather. It's getting dicey out there all over the country. And be safe. And I will talk to you soon. This is Rick. also known as Duke City Devil Dog. I am in Edwards, Colorado, and I'm driving for Crete Carrier Corporation, and I'm psyched. You guys have a great one. We'll talk to you later.